If you step out that door, you are an Avenger. Whoa, Karen, did you hear that? We could be Avengers. I guess it's time to join the Scooby-Doo gang. And welcome to my final round of TBR Assemble version 1. And yes, you heard that right, this is going to be the final time I use this TBR Assemble board. I'm quite sad about it, but I'm still so excited for what is coming next. I have so many ideas. I admittedly haven't made it yet, so I'm still in the planning stages, but I've got ideas and I cannot wait to show you. But for now, we're still going to be using this board for the last time. The main concept is Thanos is coming, and therefore I need the Infinity Stones and the Avengers to actually defeat him. And with that, let's get into the roll. Okay, so my first role was diverse author, and quickly before I actually go into what I'm going to be reading, I am also doing 3 readathons this month, because of course I am. The first one is that I'm continuing on with the Clear Your Beat readathon as well, because I absolutely failed this month, to say the least, and this readathon goes over 2 months, so I'm going to be trying to complete as many of the prompts this month compared to what I did last month. Then I'm also doing the Addie-a-thon, which is a readathon based around the invisible life of Addie LaRue, and then I'm also doing the series finish-a-thon, I think it's called. I'll leave a link down below to the Discord so you can check them out, but they are the 3 readathons I'm doing. Now, the first prompt was diverse author, and for that I'm going for Ace of Spades, which is the Avengers Reading Challenge book for December. Now, I'm a little bit excited, a little bit nervous about this one because I've heard mixed things about it, but I am reasonably excited as well because, I mean, the good does sound really good, but the bad also sounds really bad, so I'm a bit nervous. And it's also going to be counting 1 for the series finish-a-thon, which is the Dark Academia aesthetic prompt, and it is also counting for the prompt of Luke, which is to read a dark book / a thriller, and I'm going to count this as a bit of a dark book, a little bit thrillery, I don't really know, but I'm hoping to squeeze it in there. My second prompt was Storm, which is to read an N.K. Jemisin book, and for this I'm going for the Obelisk Gate, because, spoiler alert, it didn't get read in November, because, like I said, November fell to pieces. So I have not read it, so I'm going to be continuing on into December instead. I'm very, very excited for this. I loved the first one so much. I'm so excited to continue the series and just see where it's all going. I love, like, the vibes of it, the plot twists, everything else. I'm so excited to continue this series. I've got to admit, I'm hoping I get more time to read it. It's definitely going to be a priority this month, and it's also going to fit even better because the first book gave me Witcher vibes, and I'm hoping the second one continues on with those Witcher vibes, because if it does, it's going to be perfect, because The Witcher comes out, as in series 2 comes out, in December, so I'm going to be like having The Witcher on my mind a lot in December, so perfect timing there. And then it's also going to be counting for 1 prompt for the series finish-a-thon, and that is to continue a series, because it's obviously continuing a series, so very excited for that. It's currently not counting for anything for the Addie prompt, but or any of Addie's prompts actually, so I'm going to fit that in somewhere, I'm sure, but I'll see where I can fit it in. Essentially, we'll just go with it. My third prompt was a snap, and that one was not fun, but at the very least it was not a bad snap in the sense that it could have been a lot worse, and my prompt was to review a book. Now, obviously I'm not going to choose which book I'm going to review right now because I like to sort of feel that out. I will probably be reviewing it though on my TikTok, which I'll leave the link to down below. But at the moment I'm just going to put a placeholder book in here because I do want to read this book, and that is Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, which is obviously a massive 600-page bind-up of short stories all about Simon of the original Mortal Instruments series after all the stuff that happened in the original Mortal Instruments series, essentially. I can't say much more because that would be spoilers, but I cannot wait to read this one. Simon is one of my favourite characters of the series, and I've been wanting to read this one for a very long time. It's also the final book I wanted to read in the Mortal Instruments series this year, so if I can get through this one, I will be well happy with my progress in the Mortal Instruments series. So very excited for this, and because it's short stories, I'm hoping I can just sort of dip in and out of it, which will be really quite nice as well. And then also it's counting for the black cover prompt, which is to kill off a series, which means finishing a series that you have been wanting to end. So that's why I'm counting it here, because I've had enough of Jason Clary, quite frankly, and I'm very excited to move on to different characters in the Mortal Instruments universe, so I'm counting it there. And then it's also counting for read a book that's been on my TBR for a long time. I can't remember how long I've owned this, so it's been a very long time. Essentially, it's been at least 2 years on my shelf, and I've been wanting to read the Mortal Instruments for a very, very long time anyway, so it's counting there as well. Fanfiction, as always, I'm not going into because I totally mood read that, and it depends on how much time I've got and all the rest of it as to what I read. So moving on, my next prompt was Steve, which is to read an older book. So Skullduggery Pleasant Midnight, because I know this isn't that old. I think it's like 2018, if I can get to the right page. Yeah, 2018. So it's not that old, but it's old to me because I've been wanting to read it for so long, and I just haven't, because I haven't gotten this far in the series before. But because of the Dead Famous read along, I am getting to the end of the series, which is very, very exciting. Also, as a quick FYI, we have been a bit delayed this month for various reasons in terms of our live show, but our Dying of the Light live show is tomorrow at time of filming at 3 PM, so check that out. And then hopefully Resurrection will be soon afterwards as well, around middle of December, but we haven't decided that one yet either, but we'll get there when we get there, and then we'll go on to Midnight. And very excited for this. This is obviously one of my favourite series. This is Skullduggery Pleasant, which is all about a magical skeleton detective and his partner Valkyrie as they try to save the world from various threats. Essentially, it's really fun. I love it so much. Cannot wait to read it. And then it's also counting for the thriller book prompt, which is to read a book with dark themes. I'm guessing this is dark themes. I mean, it's called Midnight, and it says the clock is ticking, and usually most of these books are quite dark. So and they have been getting darker throughout the series, so I'm guessing this one's going to be dark as well. And then it's not counting for anything for the Addy prompt either. Oh wait, here it is. It's to read a mystery, and there's usually a mystery involved in this as well, because Skullduggery is a detective, so I'm guessing there's going to be a mystery as well. And then my final prompt was Valkyrie, which is to read an ebook, which is hilarious because I just mentioned Skullduggery, which has the main character Valkyrie, but they aren't ebooks, so I can't use it as the prompt, but never mind. So yeah, for this prompt I'm going all out and reading a lot of Hawkeye. Because obviously December is the month of Hawkeye, so I'm reading the Matt Fraction run, the Kate Bishop Hawkeye, the Hawkeye vs Deadpool, Hawkeye and Mockingbird, and basically anything else I can get my hands on that has Hawkeye in the title. I'm not kidding. I'm going all out. I've literally scoured Marvel Unlimited and just saved a ton of them. And I'm just going to work my way through them over the next few weeks. Literally the plan. Cannot wait, quite frankly. And they're all on ebooks, so it all counts, but I'm only going to count one of those comics for the prompt. But yeah, I'm using this as an excuse to read a lot of Hawkeye, because I've been saving these for about 2 years now, so very excited to work my way through all the Hawkeye. And obviously that is not the end of my TBR, because I can never just leave it at that, and there are a few other things I really, really want to get to before the end of the year. I'm going to mention the books first, and then I'll go into the comics. So the first book is The Clash of the Sky Galleons. This is the third one in the Quint saga, which is part of the Edge Chronicles. This is the other series I really, really wanted to finish this year. I've been putting it off, I won't lie, which is why it's going for the Blackthorn prompt of a book that you think will slowly kill you on the inside, because I found the second one really slow, and Quint really annoyed me because he was such a bad friend. But we'll see what this one does, and I'm just excited to get through this one so then I can go on to the Twig trilogy, which has been on my shelf for a good decade. And then the other book I've got is Amari and the Night Brothers, because I just really want to read this one. There's absolutely no reasoning behind this one further than the fact that I want to know what all the hype is about, quite frankly. So I really, really want to get to this one. I've heard this one is sort of like Men in Black, and I really like Men in Black, so we'll see what happens here, but I do want to get to this one as well before the end of the year. It's a nice middle grade the writing is quite big, so I'm hoping it's going to be a quick read. And then onto the comics, because I cannot have a TBR without comics on it. The first one is the only non-Marvel comic, and that is The Witcher. Now, this one is, I think, an adaptation of the books, which makes me a little bit worried because I don't like the books whatsoever because they're incredibly sexist. But I'm hoping this one's going to be different. I'm hoping that it's been improved upon in that sense. But we'll see what happens. But essentially I'm reading this because Series 2 of The Witcher is coming out, and I get obsessed with The Witcher. Like earlier this year I also watched The Nightmare of the Wolf, which was like the animated one. I'm really looking forward to all of the spin-off series as well. But I'm just really here for Geralt of Rivia and like Jaskier and all the rest of them. Quite frankly, I'm just very, very excited. And whenever it comes out I get overly in love with The Witcher, quite frankly. So I'm going to also try to read the Witcher comic as well, but we'll see how it goes and we'll see how I fare on that one. And then there's the Spider-Man comics, because Spider-Man No Way Home comes out this month and I am so excited because it's Spider-Man and I love Spider-Man, and this one looks epic. So lots of Spider-Man comics. The first one is going to be this one, which is Spider-Man Greatest Villains. Admittedly, I'm not going to read all of this, but I did read one of these, which was the Mysterio one, which was the Menace of Mysterio, when the last Spider-Man film came out. And this one has got like all of his greatest villains in it, essentially, hence the title. And it's got like classic stories, including like Venom, Vulture, Kingpin, Hobgoblin, Electro, Carnage and Doc Ock. So what I'm going to be doing is reading the Doc Ock one, the Electro one, probably Hobgoblin as well, maybe Kingpin if he turns up, maybe Vulture, maybe Venom. It depends again on who turns up in the movie. But I will be reading whichever short stories involve those villains, essentially. It's admittedly like the classic stories, so the artwork is not my favourite, but we'll see what happens. And I just like this as a bit of a tradition now, to read one of these whenever one of his films comes out. And then I want to reread the entirety of the Spider-Man Renew Your Vows series, because I have actually only read the first two, so it's about time I read all of them. So that is Spider-Man Renew Your Vows Brawl in the Family. It's also The Venom Experiment, and also 8 Years Later, and also Are You Okay, Annie? And this is following Peter after he has married MJ and they've had a daughter called Annie May. They find a suit that means that whenever MJ wears it, she can share Peter's powers, and Annie May also has powers. And it's about them being a superhero family. Quite frankly, I'm very excited to read this one. I've been reading it on and off for years now, and it's about time I finished it because I really, really want to, and I've been saving it specifically for this month. So, cannot wait. I will then also be reading Spider-Geddon, because Spider-Geddon is about basically the multiverse cracking and all of the spider people having to team up together. Which is essentially what Spider-Man No Way Home is, because I know that they're trying to say that the other two Spider-Man are not in this, but they are. Just, there's no way they're not at this point, and either way, the multiverse is cracking. So, definitely will be reading Spider-Geddon. Very excited, along with the spin-offs, because I'm going all in on this, so definitely cannot wait to read that one. And then the final thing I'm going to mention is Doctor Strange comics. Now, I don't know which ones I'm going to read yet. I have no idea, because there's a lot to choose from, because I've been buying Doctor Strange comics for years now, essentially. I've been buying Doctor Strange comics and hoarding them since 2016, and I haven't read them yet, because I've been waiting for his next appearance in the MCU, and it is finally here. So, what I'm going to be doing is reading one of my Doctor Strange comics, or maybe a whole load of them. I don't know yet, but we'll see what happens. I'll see what's picking my fancy in terms of what I've got like bought from my physical shelves, my ebook shelves, and then also what's on Marvel Unlimited. I'll just pick from there, essentially, and I'm very, very excited for that, because I've been waiting for an excuse to read a Doctor Strange comic for a very long time, and it's finally here. And I cannot wait. But I'm also saving a whole ton for Multiverse Madness next year. But I will read at least one this month, because it's Doctor Strange. And there's no way I'm going to resist. There is no way I'm resisting this. So I'm just going to pick one, and we'll have to see which one it is, essentially. But very excited. Either way. Very excited to jump back into Stephen's world and Peter's world and all the rest of it as well. And that is the end of my December TBR. So it's quite a stack if I put it all together, because I mean, looks like this, which topples, essentially. It looks really big, and I think it works out at nearly 200 pages I'm just going to leave that there. It works out at nearly 200 pages a day to get through, which sounds like a lot. It is a lot, but I'm hoping, because some of these are like ones I can read really quickly, that I actually get through them quite quickly, but we'll see what happens, essentially. But either way, excited, slightly nervous, but we'll see what happens. And that is the end of my December TBR. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me what you're most excited to read this month, or if you don't have that much time, leave me a spider emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link down below to all of my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, which is going to have all the Hawkeye, all the Spider-Man, all the Doctor Strange things you could actually need this month, and also to my Etsy and Redbubble stores, which sells bookish goodies and bookish bullet journal stuff, and there is currently a 20% off sale on the Etsy if you are interested in that. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!